All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to week 7 of The Distance, Atlanta Track Club's online hub of resources to support us in staying healthy and active while we continue to practice safe social distancing and until we can return safely to the running events that so many of us love and enjoy. My name is Alissa Palladino. I am a registered dietitian and runner based in Atlanta, and I am coming to you again this week for your weekly nutrition lunch and learn, in which we've been discussing a whole range of nutrition topics geared towards runners and walkers, and also geared toward this period of stay at home and social distancing that we're experiencing as a result of the coronavirus. This week, once again, my heart and my mind are a bit heavy. And like I mentioned last week, part of me was questioning and is questioning whether in this larger context of the fight for racial justice, if it's sensitive, if it's relevant even to be talking about nutrition. And I guess my thought is that nutrition to me, it's my job. It's also my passion. I'm really dedicated to educating people about healthy eating and empowering people to make food choices that improve their health. We do all still need to eat, and now it's as true as ever that our food choices impact our health, our energy levels, our running performance. So I'll continue to use this platform in that way, although I do have some ideas about how we can amplify Black voices in the nutrition conversation, which I will circle back to at the end of today's presentation if we have time. The nutrition topic for today is one of my favorites to address after Memorial Day weekend and as the summer starts to heat up, and that is seasonal summer produce. So kind of looking at what the benefits are of eating fruits and vegetables when they are in season, what that even means. But before we get into that, I do want to address some other forms of produce that we talked about and that I recommended back in April when we were kind of getting ready for staying at home and thinking about having to have produce that would last longer. And so, even as the world starts to open up again and we're not so much in lockdown, there are still some benefits of keeping other forms of produce on hand. So the first I'll talk about is frozen. And I have an example here of frozen broccoli. And frozen veggies, but frozen fruit too, is something that I always recommend keeping on hand, something I always keep on hand myself for a couple different reasons. And one is that when we are busy and we're kind of back into our regular lives, a lot of times people find that when they buy fresh produce, it ends up going to waste. So they buy it with the best of intentions at the beginning of the week, but they don't end up using it in time. And so that, is a waste of money. It, contributes to food waste, which is actually a much bigger problem in this country than you would think. And so if that's something that you've experienced, not to never buy fresh, but to also have a stash of frozen fruit and vegetables on hand so that when you are home and you do have an opportunity to cook for yourself, you have no excuse not to include your nutrient-rich vegetables as part of your balanced meal, which, as we talked about last week and the week before that, when it comes to our lunches and our dinners, our vegetables play a really, really key role. So the other reason that I like to have frozen vegetables as well as fruit on hand, in addition to just that convenience factor and the fact that they will last longer than fresh, is they can actually be higher in nutrients even than fresh produce, especially if we're eating fresh produce out of season. And that's because with frozen, they are flash frozen as soon as they're picked. So at the peak of ripeness, they're retaining all their nutrients. So with fresh, if we're eating out of season and that produce has been traveling a long way between when it's been picked and when we're eating it, there is some nutrient loss that occurs that you're not having to deal with when you're eating your frozen produce. So really good reasons to have that on hand. And it's really easy too with frozen just to nuke it in the microwave. So easy, quick preparation method. You can also utilize some of the preparation methods we talked about last week. So sauteing on the stove top with a little bit of olive oil, or roasting in the oven with a little bit of olive oil. You can prepare frozen vegetables that way, just like you can with fresh. And for our vegetables that are high in fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K, that olive oil not only helps the flavor and the texture, it also helps with the absorption of those fat-soluble nutrients. So microwave, roasting in the oven, sauteing on the stove, great ways to prepare those frozen vegetables and kind of reap the convenience and the nutrient benefits. And with your frozen fruit, your berries, your mango, your pineapple, whatever, you can easily throw those into smoothies. That's what a lot of people like to do. You can let them thaw out a little bit and add them to Greek yogurt. And if you're buying plain Greek yogurt, instead of a fruit flavored one, you can kind of add your own fruit that way. You can use them in the frozen fruit and overnight oats. There's really endless ways to use it. So definitely recommend keeping frozen produce on hand, even as we're moving into those summer months, and there's so much fresh produce that we're going to want to stock up on as well. Another shelf-stable form of vegetables and produce that we often talk about with a longer shelf life is going to be our canned. And from like a taste and texture perspective, canned is my favorite when it comes to vegetables. And I think it's really important, especially if you are new to eating healthy, or you're trying to encourage your kids to eat more healthy, or really anyone who's eating vegetables. We want to enjoy them, right? We do not want eating vegetables to be a chore. And so it is important to make sure that they're delicious and we're enjoying them. And that's not going to be, for the most part, your canned vegetables. That said, some vegetables from a health standpoint is always better than no vegetables. So not a bad idea just to have a couple cans in your pantry or in your cupboard, just to kind of have as a backup. But while that's true for canned vegetables not being so awesome just from like a mushy quality standpoint, canned is really good for beans and chickpeas. So, this is a staple that in canned form is perfectly fine. Again, will last a really long time. As we've discussed in previous episodes, beans and chickpeas are great sources of plant-based protein, as well as dietary fiber and good carbs for energy. So these are real nutritional powerhouses. Anytime you're going with a canned version of a produce, just make sure you rinse to get off the added sodium and any kind of preservatives that may be preserved in to enhance that shelf life. Another form of produce, and this typically applies more to fruit, is dried. So things like raisins, dried cranberries, apricots, dates, dried pineapple, things like that. As long as there's not mango, as long as there's not added sugar, your dried fruit is also giving you some nutrition. And the best use for dried fruit as runners and as athletes would be a pre or mid-run or mid-workout fuel. Because in those scenarios, we need carbs, and we actually need the quickest form of carbs, which is sugar, which is going to be naturally found in fruit. But sometimes we don't want all the volume that we're going to get from a whole fresh fruit. And so having it in the dried form is actually going to be really beneficial, because it's going to give us that quick sugar, that energy we need, but take up a lot less space in our stomach. And so it's going to potentially cause less GI distress while we're running or while we're exercising. So that those dried fruits are a great option for runners and athletes that prefer a more natural whole foods approach to fueling. Although there's certainly a place and a role for those sports products, those gels and those little shot blocks and things like that as well. Definitely use those myself. So we've talked about frozen, we've talked about dried, we've talked about canned produce. All produce is good produce. We don't discriminate here. But it is, and the summer, if you are a fruit and vegetable lover, or even if you're not, someone who considers themselves a big fan, the summer produce is going to be the season that converts you. So there are so many fruits and vegetables that come into season right about now. And there are lots of benefits to eating fruits and vegetables when they're in season. And basically all that really means is what's growing where you are right now. So yes, we can access strawberries here in Georgia in the winter, but they're not growing here, you know? So one, they're not quite as delicious as the strawberries we're getting in the summer. And they're also not going to be quite as high in nutrition because they've had to be picked before they're really ripe and then transported from wherever it's warm enough for them to grow. Not just an example with the strawberries, but in general, same thing if we're eating tomatoes in the middle of winter. You know, they're not growing here. So we're getting them from somewhere else where it is summer season. They're traveling a long way to get to us. So typically they're not going to taste quite as good. And again, they're not going to be quite as high in nutrients. Eating seasonal, eating local is a great way to positively impact the environment because we aren't having to spend as much energy or fuel to transport the fruits and the vegetables from wherever they're growing to our plates. And it's a great way to support local farms. So there's a lot of, I mean, here in Georgia, maybe some of you are tuning in from other states, but there's a lot of farms all across Georgia that are continuing to produce fresh fruits and vegetables. You can order online now and either have them shipped directly to your home or have it arranged to pick up at a local farmer's market that farm delivers to. And so again, a great way right now if you're interested in supporting your own health, but also, you know, local businesses and local farms, and really reap the benefits nutritionally and taste wise of eating seasonal produce. So good reasons now to you know, really fill our plates with all the colors. I've probably said this before, but when it comes to health, particularly with our fruits and vegetables, we don't just want to eat a lot of them, which we do. We want to eat the rainbow. So we want to eat a variety of colors in fruits and vegetables. And that's because each of the different colors is a different antioxidant. And, you know, we talked about supporting a healthy immune system, that antioxidants, which are vitamins A, vitamins C, vitamin E, zinc, antioxidants play a really important role in, yes, keeping our immune system strong, which is as important now as ever. But they also really are working on a cellular level in our bodies to neutralize free radicals that are happening just from us living in this environment, going about our lives, exercising. And so we want to prevent that free radical damage so we can, you know, lower our risk of getting cancer and a whole number of other diseases. So that's really the reason why we as health professionals, as dietitians, focus so much on encouraging you all to eat more fruits and vegetables. And frankly, the more active you are, the higher your antioxidant needs are, because the more free radical damage that's happening. So eat your veggies, eat your fruit, whatever form you can get it in. And eat the rainbow. So I just brought some examples today of some produce that's in season right now in Georgia. And as you can see behind me, we've got lots of colors represented. And I'm going to talk about some of my favorite ways to prepare some of these seasonal fruits and vegetables, and then demo a simple recipe, which is something that I just kind of make for myself a lot. It's just kind of colorful. But here we go. So one type of fruit that is in season right now are berries. And I already kind of mentioned strawberries, but blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, boysenberries, like a whole bunch of different berries are in season now. And berries are, among fruit, have the highest concentration of antioxidants. I think wild blueberries top the list. So if you're really trying to get the most nutritional bang for your buck, I would go with berries, and you can have them fresh, you can have them frozen, use them in your smoothie, throw them in your Greek yogurt, throw them in your oatmeal. Fresh blueberries and fresh strawberries are also really nice on like a green salad. So to kind of complement some of the more savory flavors in that salad, adding that little like pop of sweetness. Of course, you could do this with dried fruit as well, but it's nice. Like a lot of times you'll have people using craisins or raisins in a salad, but it's really nice to do it with fresh fruit in the summer. And it's a really refreshing snack, you know, a handful of berries, maybe pair it with a protein like a string cheese or something. Because remember we talked about building balanced snacks. We want to have carbs and fiber, which we're going to be getting from the fruit, and then we also want to pair that with some kind of protein or fat, which we could be getting from the cheese. But yeah, berries are definitely something that you're going to notice taste a lot better in the summer. I actually am just thinking aloud as I'm sharing here, an angel food cake with some vanilla ice cream or some whipped cream and berries in the summer is a really nice seasonal treat. And as we, you know, approach 4th of July, we sometimes like to do desserts that are like red, white, and blue. So you could use your strawberries, your blueberries, some vanilla ice cream or whipped cream and have a festive treat that's delicious and also nutrient rich. Here in Georgia, we are the peach state, so we always get excited when peaches come into season. Personally, and I know this is probably gonna, you know, offend some being in Georgia, but I prefer nectarines to peaches just because of the smoothness of the skin. But nutritionally, they're quite similar. There's actually these peaches I found at Kroger the other day. They were on sale. I saw them at Publix too. Definitely something you can get at a local farmer's market or from a local farm. Really high in vitamin C. There's some potassium. Vitamin C, remember, is an antioxidant. And potassium is actually one of the electrolytes that we lose in sweat. So as we are running and it's super hot and humid, I don't know if anyone ran this morning, but we really want to make sure we're replenishing our electrolytes in the food and the food and the beverages that we eat and drink. And so potassium is really important. Peaches have some fiber in it too. So yeah, these are delicious just as a snack. You can grill them on the grill. That'll actually kind of caramelize some of the natural sugars and be a really delicious, kind of just interesting, different way to enjoy your peaches. They can go into a peach cobbler, a peach crisp. You can do a lot of delicious things with them. I don't think I really need to teach you how to enjoy peaches. That's kind of golden. Cherries. So I think cherries might be my favorite fruit. And they really only are available in the summer months. So it's just something that you look forward to because you know you can't have them all year round, unless at least not in the fresh form. And as runners and athletes, there's actually some really good research around cherries as far as the antioxidants and the other compounds that are in cherries being anti-inflammatory. And so really helping promote recovery after a hard bout of exercise and really seeing lower levels of inflammation systemically in athletes that are regularly consuming. I think most of the research is with tart cherry juice, but you know, they're certainly not going to hurt you to enjoy cherries as some of the fruit that you're eating this summer. Some other fruit that's in season, melon. So watermelon is great, a really refreshing snack, really high water content. So a great way to rehydrate. So those are just some of my favorite summer fruits. Maybe some of you have others that you're thinking of that I missed. Feel free to share them in the comments. But again, you can see between the berries and the melon and the cherries and the peaches, we've got lots of different colors. So we've got lots of different antioxidants and nutrients. There's also a lot of vegetables that are in season over the summer. One that is in season right now that's more of like a spring to summer is asparagus. So asparagus is, I prefer to either roast this, so in the oven on a sheet pan, which is I demoed last week, or grill. It's really great on the grill. Asparagus is, if you remember when we talked about boosting the immune system, one of the ways that we can do that is by building a healthy gut microbiome. And so in order to do that, we need to consume not just probiotics, which are found in fermented foods, but also prebiotics, which are found in a lot of vegetables, including asparagus. So the prebiotics are fuel for probiotics, healthy gut bacteria, healthy gut, healthy immune system. So definitely enjoy your asparagus now. A little bit of olive oil, like I mentioned, helps also not just with the taste and the texture and the flavor, but with the absorption of the fat-soluble nutrients. Some other green veggies that are in season now, my very favorite salad green, arugula. This pairs really well. It's got a little bit of a bitter kick to it, a little bit more of a flavor than other lettuce greens might have. So you could have kind of a love-hate relationship with arugula. I tend to love it. I love it as a base for salads. It pairs really well with red onion, with a nice balsamic vinegar or vinaigrette, a little bit of Parmesan cheese, tomatoes. You can also do fresh fruit in it. So like I mentioned, blueberries or strawberries would be great. You don't have to do much to it because it's so flavorful. And it's one of my favorite greens to add to a sandwich or wrap. So instead of just using iceberg or romaine or even baby spinach, switch things up and use that arugula. Sugar snap peas are also in season now, as well as green beans. And all these green vegetables, they have vitamin C, they have vitamin K, they have folate, they've got potassium, they've got all of these vegetables, kind of goes without saying, have fiber. So dietary fiber, and I cannot emphasize enough how important that is to overall health as far as regulating our blood sugar, regulating our blood cholesterol, healthy digestion, helping us manage hunger. I mean, there's so many benefits to dietary fiber, and the best way to get that is through our foods, through foods that naturally have it, rather than trying to take a fiber supplement. Although there is a role for that for some people. Some other vegetables that are in season right now. Our squash, summer squash, and zucchini. So these are really great. If you slice them kind of the lengthwise, you can make little zucchini or squash boats, and then fill it with, say, ground turkey or lean ground beef, a little bit of cheese on top, a little bit of marinara sauce, and roast them in the oven. Really delicious. Zucchini and squash also great to spiralize, zucchini noodles or zoodles. If you're looking for a way to kind of do half and half with your pasta and also kind of bump up your vegetables. Also great sliced and then grilled. So kind of complementing the chicken or the burgers, the mushrooms maybe that you're out grilling with some sliced zucchini or squash is really great. You can cube them and do them on your kebabs or your skewers. So squash and zucchini is great raw too. I only discovered that kind of recently, but if you slice them into kind of like, think about the size that you would see sliced bell peppers or sliced cucumbers, you can cut your squash and zucchini into that shape as well and enjoy it with your favorite dip, or a Greek yogurt based dip. Usually what I do. Let's see what else I have here. So cucumbers. Cucumbers are like over 90% water. So when I think about cucumbers, I'm not so focused on all the nutrients that you're getting, which, there are some, but this is a way to eat your fluids. So fill yourself up, kind of add cucumbers to a salad, to a sandwich, and know that you're getting a lot of hydration along with it. And then bell peppers. So this one's orange, but these guys come in yellow, they come in red. They're really high in vitamin C. So again, potent antioxidant that we need for health. Also vitamin C, for those of you who are shifting towards a more plant-based diet, vitamin C enhances the absorption of plant-based iron. So if you're eating iron from, say, meat, you absorb it really well, not a problem. When you're getting iron from, say, beans or nuts or spinach, you don't absorb it quite as well, but you do it better with vitamin C. So a great reason to have your peppers. And then tomatoes. So tomatoes are in season right now. So the tomatoes you're going to get now are so much better than the tomatoes you would have gotten, back in the winter. And these guys are really high in a whole bunch of antioxidants and vitamins and minerals. They're really known for lycopene, which is a carotenoid antioxidant, best known for lowering prostate cancer risk, but really actually more and more research showing it decreases cancer, risk of a whole bunch of different cancers. So definitely have your tomatoes. The lycopene is actually better absorbed cooked. So, if you are not into raw tomatoes, but sometimes people aren't, and you're eating tomato sauce or salsa or something like that. I guess salsa is not really cooked, but tomato sauce or stewed tomatoes, you're actually getting a higher lycopene concentration and absorbing it better. And that's just kind of scratching the surface. I mean, there's corns in season in the summer. There's so much produce, different herbs and spices too, basil, um, onions, things like that. But you'll check out your local farmers market or the website for a local farm, and you'll see what's growing near you now, and know that eating those fruits and vegetables are going to taste better and be better for you. But don't buy too much, right? Because buy what you know you use and that you have a plan for, so that it doesn't go bad. If you want to freeze some of your produce before it goes bad, I had a conversation about this the other day with somebody. With vegetables, it's definitely helpful to blanch and shock them. So boil water, dunk them in the boiled water, and then put it in cold water right away afterwards. So it's like a micro cook, and then go ahead and freeze them so that you're not freezing them just raw. When it's time to go ahead and eat them, the quality and the flavor is so much better if you've blanched and shocked versus just stuck them in the freezer raw. Okay, so I'm gonna demo a quick recipe in our few remaining minutes. Basically, I love this recipe because all you have to do is chop up local seasonal produce and combine it. There's no cooking. So this is a super colorful Greek style salad, a great side dish to your summer barbecue. It's got all the colors, a great way to eat the rainbow. And you don't really need much of a dressing, really just olive oil, salt, and pepper, maybe a little lemon juice. So I'm going to show you the ingredients here. I did the prep already. Cucumbers. I like to take the skin off cucumbers because it's less bitter, although if you leave it on, you're going to probably get a little bit more fiber. Then we're going to add tomatoes. These are cherry tomatoes that I just sliced in half. The next ingredient is going to be bell peppers. These are yellow, but you can use orange. I wouldn't use red just because you've already got the red color from the tomatoes covered. The next ingredient is going to be red onion. I think the flavor of this complements the other flavors in the salad better. Plus, the kind of purple color of the red onion, makes it more colorful and more pretty to look at. So those are our main colors that we've got, as you can see, very colorful. And then for healthy fat and flavor, I like to add crumbled feta cheese and some black olives. So that's it. As you can see, this would probably be a nice thing to bring and serve at a summer barbecue. Mix it all together, add some olive oil, salt and pepper, maybe a little lemon juice. That's all you need. It's not a complete meal, right? Remember, we've got vegetables, protein, carbs, and fat to talk about when we're talking about a balanced meal. So all we've got here are the vegetables and the fat. So if we're going to consider this a balanced meal, we want to add a protein source. Grilled chicken would be excellent in this. And we want to add a carbohydrate. So either some pita on the side, or if you want to hit both your carbs and your protein, something like chickpeas would actually go really well in this and kind of stick with that Greek kind of style flavor profile. So colorful Greek style salad, give it a try. That's mainly what I've got for you all today. I hope you feel encouraged and excited about all the delicious produce that's coming into season this summer, but not forget about the benefits in terms of longevity of having some frozen and canned and dry. I just learned next week Atlanta Track Club is on a break, so there will be no distance YouTube lives, including no Nutrition Lunch and Learn next Friday. So we'll be back in 2 weeks from today. I hope to see you then. And in the meantime, in the spirit of amplifying Black voices in the nutrition space, which Black dietitians are really unrepresented in the nutrition field, and that is definitely true for the healthcare fields in general. There are a lot of really great Black dietitians who are developing and putting out content on social media, on their websites, on YouTube, even if that's the platform that you've enjoyed watching me on. So I would encourage you to check out, learn from dietitians of color, other voices in the nutrition space. I still hope you'll come back and watch me in 2 weeks. But if you're interested in some ways to kind of find and get started with that, follow me on my personal social media. My Instagram is AK Palladino. I started putting together a list of dietitians of color that are doing great work and putting out some really great content. So if you're interested in following and getting some more diverse perspectives on nutrition, I would encourage you to check those out. Have a great weekend and enjoy your fruits and vegetables. See you in 2 weeks. Bye.